Back to Access. I'm Ken.
And I'm Nicole.
And we're getting a little punchy today. It's the last tape we're doing this particular day, which is probably good.
After I squirted you last time.
Yeah, that's a low point to me, or maybe a high point.
I know, it's dry now.
Boo. It's all this hot air. Today we're doing Micah, and Micah is, he's just one of the best.
He
has some of the language that we know the best with do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God, which for many of us it's our favorite verses. And I'll tell us a little bit about the history of Micah. Micah is an 8th century prophet. You can think of him a lot like Isaiah.
Yes.
In fact, Micah actually has language that's the exact equivalent, or it's lifted either out of Isaiah or they shared the same source, because they both talk about like the holy mountain and nation not lifting up sword against nation. It's exactly out of Isaiah too, which is kind of cool. So 8th century southern prophet, and he, like Isaiah, is part of his solution to all of the cataclysms that are occurring at this time, with the northern kingdom falling and the southern kingdom standing against Assyria, is to say that what God is doing with all of this is God is punishing the nations, but is keeping steadfast love with the Davidic covenant with the southern kingdom. So like in Isaiah, at the end of his call, God mows down the forest of Israel, but there's that seed of hope. And the remnant of Jesse, or the line of David. And this does, later this gives rise, right before the time of the New Testament, to this kind of messianic, hope for a Davidic king that's going to come, and clean house, which is, the Christian hope then just says, well, he did come, but it's a very different kind of king, where he doesn't use a sword to actually kill people. But this alternative way of peace. So that's kind of Micah, the history in a nutshell. Thematic stuff here.
The major theme in Micah is the lifting up of orthopraxy over orthodoxy. And you may ask yourself,
what might orthopraxy mean?
What are orthopraxy and orthodoxy? That they should
I was
be
asking
so opposed.
myself that.
I read it on a wall somewhere. Orthopraxy is right behavior, whereas orthodoxy is right belief. And, I think a lot of times we prize orthodoxy and being orthodox, that's probably where you usually hear that word, as being good.
Like having the right theological ideas.
Right, yes.
Thinking the right things about God, having the right opinions about Jesus.
Right.
That's what being a church member is about.
Yes.
Micah, on the other hand, says, what is being a good follower of God about?
It's about doing the right thing.
Oh!
You can't just talk about social justice. You have to do it.
It's a lot easier to talk about it.
I know. And I gotta say, myself as a future theologian, I love me some orthodoxy. And it is much easier than orthopraxy. And I love that Micah is such a challenge to, I think especially to liberal churches, where we're all about inclusive talk.
Yes,
and
having the right opinions.
Loving,
being nice to people.
Broad theology. Swaths of theology.
And then we look at our congregations.
Yes.
And we all look middle class, upper middle class,
white, pretty well educated. Most of us don't spend very much time volunteering. We're kind of stingy with our money and giving to charity. But we sure do think charity's a nice idea.
That's right. These are books
that
say, don't tell me what you think is right. Tell me what you do.
Show me what you do.
Yeah.
And it's show me what you do.
Yes.
And that's a characterization of pretty much all Protestant churches, or a lot of them.
Well,
or mainline churches.
it's people in general. I mean,
Right.
it's,
And we weren't saying that to knock our church as TBC at
Yeah.
all, but that's a that characterizes a lot of mainline.
well, and like the prophets, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather us be tough on ourselves and figure
Yes.
out how can we improve,
Mhm.
rather than just sit back and take pot shots at other traditions.
Oh yeah, which we love
say,
doing.
say what's wrong with them.
Why are they such homophobes?
Yeah.
Like,
we'd
what?
rather focus the lens on us and say, you
Mhm.
know, how can we do better?
How can we do better? How can we walk more?
Maybe it's
with
because
God?
we've been reading the prophets
I know.
that we feel like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, anything else thematically?
I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting?
Oh, the Davidic
Oh,
remnant.
yes.
Well, we already did that. Though.
yeah, the Davidic remnant.
Why don't we can jump into the text that we hope you know. Micah gives us a great kind of description of the social injustice and kind of a psychological portrait in
Yeah.
chapter 2. Do you want to talk about
Yeah. It's great, and it's all about how people in power devise plans and dream schemes on how to get more. You know, there's one line where it's like, you go to bed thinking about your evil schemes, and in the morning you do them.
Because you can.
Because you can.
Yeah, when morning dawns, they perform it because it is in their power.
Right. For me, it just feels like Mr. Burns.
Excellent. We'll have the jade monkey by nightfall.
Exactly. Where it's like, you don't even necessarily need to do these things.
No.
But you do them because
Because you
you
can.
can. You can get more money, you can step on this business, you can step on these people because you want to.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think, I mean, there
Mhm.
is, it's not just that we want to, but I
Mhm.
think something happens when we're overtaken by greed.
Yeah.
That there's this sense of, I'm just taking and taking and taking, because
Yeah.
it's just what it becomes you.
Yeah.
And you don't remember any other way to be.
It's like a social gluttony where you're just taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, where something's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah, so that's
No, it's
one of the big things. Or that's one of the story or
Mike is an
words.
excellent describer, you know, of what's